You're listening to the Archaeology Podcast Network.
You're listening to the Great Plains Archaeology Podcast. Join me as we uncover the rich histories of North America's Great Plains, exploring the latest archaeological discoveries and past cultures that shape this storied region. Welcome to the podcast. Welcome to the very first episode of the Great Plains Archaeology Podcast. I'm your host, Professor Carlton Shield Chief Gover, and I am thrilled to have you join me on this exciting journey through the rich and fascinating histories of North America's Great Plains. In this podcast, we'll uncover the stories buried beneath the prairie, bringing to light the incredible archaeological discoveries that shape our understanding of this vast and storied region. Whether you're an archaeology enthusiast, history buff, or simply a curious mind, there's something here for everyone. But before we dive into the depths of ancient artifacts and the echoes of indigenous civilizations, let's take a moment to set the stage for what you can expect from this podcast. The Great Plains, stretching from the Canadian provinces in the north to the Texas plains in the south, and from the Rocky Mountains in the west to the Mississippi River in the east, this vast expanse of land has been home to countless cultures and civilizations for thousands of years. It's a region rich with history, yet often overlooked in mainstream archaeology and historical narratives. Our journey will take us through time, starting with the earliest inhabitants who arrived during the Ice Age. We'll explore the rise of complex societies such as the mound-building cultures and the intricate trade networks that crisscross the plains. We'll also dive into the lives of the indigenous peoples who thrived here long before European contact and continue to shape the cultural landscape of the Great Plains today. In each episode, we'll bring you closer to the past by discussing recent archaeological findings, from ancient tools and pottery to monumental earthworks and sacred sites. We will also hear from leading archaeologists, historians, and indigenous people who are at the forefront of uncovering these hidden histories. Their insights and expertise will provide a deeper understanding of the people who once called this land home. But this podcast isn't just about the past. It's about connecting the past to the present. We'll explore how these ancient histories influence our contemporary world and the ongoing efforts to preserve and protect these invaluable cultural and social resources. So whether we're unearthing a forgotten town or piecing together the story of a long-lost society, you can expect each episode to be an immersive and enlightening experience. As we embark on this journey together, I encourage you to share your thoughts, questions, and insights. You can reach out to me on social media or through email. Your engagement and curiosity will help shape the direction of this podcast and ensure we cover the topics that matter most to you. So thank you for joining me for this introduction to the Great Plains Archaeology Podcast. I can't wait to explore the mysteries of the Great Plains with you. Our next episode will dive into the fascinating world of Great Plains geography and environment. And until then, keep your curiosity alive and your mind open to the stories waiting to be discovered beneath the prairie. I'm Carlton Shield Chief Gover, and this has been the Great Plains Archaeology Podcast. I'll see you next time. Thank you for listening to the Great Plains Archaeology Podcast. You can follow me on Instagram at Pawnee_archaeologist, and you can also email me at greatplainsarchpodcast@gmail.com. And remember, anybody can love the mountains, but it takes a soul to love the prairie. American author Willa Cather.
This episode was produced by Chris Webster from his RV traveling the United States, Tristan Boyle in Scotland, DigTech LLC, Culturo Media, and the Archaeology Podcast Network, and was edited by Chris Webster.
This has been a presentation of the Archaeology Podcast Network. Visit us on the web for show notes and other podcasts at www.archpodnet.com. Contact us at chris@archaeologypodcastnetwork.com.